Herzlich willkommen zurück zu Genshin Impact. So, schauen wir mal, wie es Furina und Arlecchino geht und
Look! There are a ton of Fatui and Palais Mermonia people over there! The knave is probably here already. We need to hurry!
ja, wenn die uns
Are you two the
reinlassen.
traveler in Paimon?
Ja.
Monsieur Nervalet has left instructions. Please follow me.
Ah,
Even
sehr
though I'm
schön.
sure he's already explained, this should be a mostly cordial conversation, unlikely to give rise to violence. But it would be most appreciated if you could protect Lady Furina to the best of your abilities.
Ja, wir werden alles geben. Vor allem dafür sorgen, dass die sich nicht um Kopf und Kragen redet. Das ist eher so eine Sache. Oh.
Oh, so you two are the honored guests Miss Furina mentioned.
Of course, of course. How could they not attend a meeting such as this? I must always have 2 or more guests at my dessert table. Otherwise, the occasion would be too lonely and unbecoming of my station.
It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance, traveler. I have heard much of your accomplishments. I am the Knave, one of the 11 Fatui Harbingers.
Das ist also Arlecchino, das Oberhaupt des Sag mal, warum... Ach, egal. Freut mich, dich kennenzulernen.
I've already prepared seats for you. Come, sit beside me.
Perhaps you two are unaware of how Miss Furina and I do things. You see, we actually recently agreed to get together for tea when we had the time. See this? This is a limited type of confectionery that Miss Furina simply adores. There are only 16 slices sold every day. Here, why don't you and Paimon have a taste?
Sie sieht ziemlich freundlich aus, aber so einfach kann es nicht sein. Arlecchino ist jemand, mit dem man rechnen muss. Sie sollte besser
Traveler, what do
umsichtig
you
sein.
think of this cake?
Und ziemlich lecker. Ich denke, Paimon stimmt auch zu.
That's good to hear. So what Child said was on the mark after all. You do share a taste in desserts with Furina and I.
Nein, es gibt keinen Grund für Tartaglia, ihr so etwas zu sagen.
I wonder how he's doing nowadays. You must have heard, right? He's suddenly gone missing. I'm really worried about his safety, you know. Here's to hoping that he's an excellent swimmer.
Ich glaube an seine Fähigkeiten. Ja, der Kampf, den er uns geliefert hat, war echt nicht ohne.
Since we're talking about him, I feel like I should add something. His martial prowess really looked certainly pretty impressive, yeah.
Furina sieht ziemlich nervös aus. Zwischen ihr und Arlecchino muss etwas nicht stimmen.
So you're also familiar with his aptitude for fighting, Miss Furina. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Child was subdued by Udex Nuvillette right in front of you. Against ordinary people, my colleague would never be on the back foot. But alas, he just never imagined he'd run into such a person. I must express my admiration for Monsieur Nuvillette.
Ja, okay. Da hat sie auf jeden Fall recht. Also, Tartaglia ist, wie gesagt, einer der stärksten Kämpfer überhaupt in Teyvat. Die Reisenden sind nicht schwach. Absolut nicht. Allein schon, dass sie überhaupt zweimal vor Ei entkommen konnten. Also, Es, ich meine, schaut euch die Überreste von Ouroboros an. Das war ein Schlag von ihr. Wie viele haben die getankt, also die Reisenden? Etwas mehr. Ja, okay. Über seinen Aufenthaltsort habe ich einige Informationen gefunden.
Coming from you, that's not surprising at all.
But I thought you would be happier to hear the news.
Of course, but it's still a bit of a shame. You see, I would have been far happier had I received this news somewhat earlier. As you well know, a long time has passed since Child disappeared.
Ja, das stimmt wohl. Einige Wochen.
Well, in any case, there's no need to worry. We know for sure that Child is still alive.
Oh, and just how do you know that?
Because we found evidence that proved he left the Fortress of Mirapede.
And where did he go after leaving the fortress?
Well...
Wir haben keine Ahnung. Oh nein, Paimon hat uns in eine schlechte Lage
The Fortress of
gebracht.
Mirapede lies deep beneath the waves. Unless he pranced right out of the main gate, he must have had to swim for it. Do you have any proof that he surfaced safely?
Nein, haben wir nicht. Es gibt auch keine Beweise dafür, dass er verletzt oder getötet wurde.
Ah, that is good news at least. His sister Tonya sent a letter to Fontaine not too long ago. Since he was unfortunately unavailable, I picked it up on his behalf. Do you have any idea how he usually writes back to his family? Dear Tonya, your letter made me feel like we were still enjoying our time in Snezhnaya together. I'm currently admiring the scenery on the streets in front of the opera house. Is it something like that?
Sie übt immer wieder Druck aus. Ich bin mir nicht sicher, ob ich sie überzeugen kann, aber zumindest kann ich versuchen, ihre Aufmerksamkeit von Furina auf mich zu lenken. Ja, ich denke, es ist gut, so zu schreiben. Ja, das wäre jetzt eigentlich noch besser, wenn wir schon die Geschichte mit Child gemacht hätten. Weil ich meine, da tritt auch seine Schwester auf. Oder war es sein Bruder? Ja, der Kerl hat mehrere Geschwister. Egal.
All letters tend to follow the same few formats anyway, right? As long as the contents are accurate, it doesn't matter so much how it's written or how it's worded. Huh? Hold on. The water in the teacup is shaking.
I suppose this is also a sign of things to come, Miss Furina.
Huh? I don't quite understand what you're trying to say.
Ist doch klar. Es ist ein Angriff einer Armee von T-Rex. Was sonst sollte das Wasser zum Zittern bringen?
Have we entered into the next stage of the prophecy?
Oh.
My thanks to you both. I will take it from here.
Sure you don't need a hand?
Quite sure.
Wow. So, what's your secret, huh? Let me guess. Nah, who knows? Maybe it's just your sense of responsibility.
Sounds about right.
Oh je.
day may come when the prophecy is fulfilled and the waters burst forth. But it is not this day. This ancient power could easily obliterate an entire race. A tsunami of fury would unleash endless catastrophe. This sentence is too severe. Forgive me for overruling it.
Damn! Das war...
All right. Seems like the problem inside has been suppressed.
Let me guess. We're safe for now.
Indeed. But only for now.
I win this bet. You owe me a present.
Very well. It was indeed just as you said.
You made a bet?
We made a bet on the size of your entourage. Cloran thought you wouldn't come down by yourself.
I figured you would have at least brought a few people along for appearance's sake. It appears I underestimated just how confidential the mission was.
Shouldn't you have gotten used to confidential missions by now? That's just how the courts operate.
So what gift must the loser give? Tea?
He already has tons of tea in his office. I'm thinking about a set of legal codices.
That wouldn't happen to be a dig at my lack of legal awareness, would it?
Well, I'm sure His Grace doesn't consider the fortress to be outside the law.
I was under the impression the residents of a place like this would be uninterested in the legal codices.
That was obviously a joke. Anyway, you've still got some unfinished business to attend to in the overworld, correct?
No need to stay here if you have a pressing matter. We all know you can't leave Palais Mermonia for long.
Thank you. I hope everything went smoothly with the Fatui Harbinger.
Wir werden sehen. Das mit dem Wasser des Urmeeres ist irgendeine Strafe? Für was? Von wem?
I must say, we've spent long enough playing house. Miss Furina, as the Hydro Archon, I am sure you understand the exact meaning of the phenomenon we just witnessed. Or should I say, that's what I originally thought. But looking at your expression, was I wrong? And you haven't a clue?
What are you trying to say?
At this point, I don't think there's any more need to speak as diplomatic representatives. Allow me to speak to you now as just a Fontanian. You know the prophecy by heart, and also that every part of it is being proven true. Yet, here you are relaxing, drinking tea, and eating desserts as if it's all nothing more than a few stray bugs in your garden. Do you really think that's acceptable? The prophecy's hanging above our necks like a guillotine. Every faction is looking for a way to either avert the disaster or save their own. Even the orphans of the House of the Hearth have devoted everything to saving their homeland. But you? It beggars belief just how nonchalant and carefree you have been. From the very beginning, you, the god Focalor, you have utterly failed to take action.
You're wrong. I've never ignored the prophecy, nor have I just been passing the time in self-indulgence. Retract your accusation and stop doubting the wisdom of the gods with such absurd conjectures!
I am not alone in my doubts, you know. All the children of Fontaine may be harboring the exact same thoughts right now. Oh, great Hydro Archon. How are you going to save them? Save us? How are the people you've sworn to protect supposed to survive in a land that will soon disappear beneath the waves?
I have my ways, And I've been working on them for all this time. Even if you look down upon me, you have no right to judge me. Fontaine will be saved. Even if I still cannot see the true future right now, as long as I continue on as I am, I will be able to hold my head up high.
Furina verhält sich anders als sonst. Sie weist die Anschuldigung von Arlecchino
Then I ask you,
ernsthaft zu.
Miss Furina, just what have you been working on? Where can we see it, and what is it doing to help?
Nichts getan oder kann sie es uns nicht sagen? Gerade eben war sie noch so überzeugt und zuversichtlich.
My machinations are just like the prophecy itself. They will only reveal themselves at the fated time. It is just that beings like yourselves are unable to perceive them as of yet.
I see. As a god, the proof of your labor always lies beyond prying mortal eyes. Allow me to be so bold as to ask another way. Would it be possible for you to tell us the parts of your plan that are not confidential? Such as your emergency response plan for the impending disaster?
An emergency response plan?
Oh, that look in your eyes. Have you not even prepared one of those?
The emergency response plan is also strictly confidential.
Then allow me to jog your memory. Miss Furina, what is the purpose of your Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal? And what do you plan to do with the massive amounts of indemnitium that has accumulated over the years?
Einen Moment mal kurz, ja? Können wir mal kurz darüber reden, wie smooth Arlecchino Oratrice Mécanique der Analyse Kardinal ausgesprochen hat. Ey, das war ja fast noch besser als von Neuvillette. Impressive.
The Oratrice? It's just like it appears to be.
So you also have no idea. If I'm not mistaken, someone's using it to prepare for something. But unfortunately, it would seem that someone is not you, Miss Furina. I first caught wind of this when Linny tried to investigate the Oratrice in the Opera House. You see, even just getting close to the core contaminated him with an extremely large amount of indemnitium. But even if that had nothing to do with you, then what could you possibly be working on, oh great Hydro Archon? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Udex Neuvillette is not at the tea party with us today. Miss Furina, I suppose you must have ordered him away to take care of some troublesome business.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. Please keep it a secret for me.
Of course I will. Although, I must say, Miss Furina, you seem quite insecure without the Udex by your side. Oh, very well. Let's stop that conversation here. There are still a few slices of cake left, so please, help yourselves, everyone.
Das sind alles Themen, über die ich nicht mitsprechen kann. Ich weiß nicht einmal, was Neuvillettes Aufgabe ist. Ist sie hinuntergegangen, um sich dem Bogen Urmeer unterhalb von Fort Merope zu stellen? Und hat Furina die Wahrheit gesagt?
Traveler, I heard that you were recently commissioned to handle a few matters on behalf of the Udex. Why don't you take an extra slice of cake? Those who work hard deserve gratitude and praise. You too, Paimon.
Thank you. Paimon will take you up on that offer. Oh, Paimon's super full. That cake was great.
If it's on my tea table, it must be of the highest quality. Yes, and we must thank the knave for bringing these over as well.
You're welcome. I'm sure the cake also felt greatly honored to be featured at Miss Furina's table. and I was merely catering to Miss Furina's tastes, seeking a chance to chat over tea. It is getting late. Why don't we call it a day? There are still a few matters that I need to take care of, so I must take my leave now.
Very well. We'll end it here.
Mind seeing me off, traveler? We could use the opportunity to discuss Child before I must be on my way.
Ja, natürlich. Ich warte noch. Furina, was hast du nur getan?
The tea party turned out to be even more difficult than I'd imagined. Why are you looking at me like that? Is something the matter? If there's nothing urgent, then I shall be retiring for now.
Eieieiei. Was soll man dazu sagen? Arlecchino hat die beiden zum Narren gehalten. Also, okay, vor allem natürlich Furina, die wurde ja richtig platt gemacht da. Also, rein metaphorisch. Aber... Eieieiei. Und man darf sich halt echt fragen, was ist hier los im Staate Fontaine? Das soll irgendeine Strafe sein. Und Furina scheint echt keinen Plan zu haben, was sie dagegen tun kann. Ich meine, gut, wir wurden jetzt gespoilert, aber tun wir mal so, als hätten wir diese Info noch nicht. Ja? Was ist da los? Warum ist Furina nicht dazu in der Lage, Fontaine zu retten, während Neuvillette anscheinend mächtiger ist, was das angeht? Also jede Menge Fragen. Und bisher scheint sie halt noch schwächer zu sein als Venti. Und noch inkompetenter als Nahida. Beides eine wirklich große Leistung.
I'm glad that you were willing to come with me. Of course, Child was just an excuse. I have no interest in your dealings with him.
That's what Paimon thought.
Was möchtest du uns sagen?
You lent your aid to the children of the House of the Hearth. As their father, I would like to express my gratitude.
Ich hätte nicht erwartet, solche Worte von dir zu hören.
Do I look like an irresponsible father to you? The House of the Hearth is very important to me. You should know that I care deeply about my children.
Okay. Hast du noch was anderes zu besprechen?
That was all. Formal topics should be discussed in formal settings, and informal topics in informal settings. I know you just returned from the fortress of Meripede. Relax. I have no intention of trying to get anything out of you. Linny, Lynette, and Fremine are still there, and I trust their judgment and abilities.
They've all been working very hard and have always done all they can to fight back against anyone who tried to stop them, especially Linny.
You mean Wriothesley. He's a tricky one to deal with. It's unfortunate that Linny's so eager to prove himself that he can't learn to rely on others, including me. By the way, and you can just consider this a bit of idle gossip, but what's your impression of Furina? You are outside of our disputes, and the freest person in all of Fontaine, able to move around most easily. Allow me to share my perspective with you.
And that's everything that happened during the trial. Master Child was declared guilty and immediately transported to the Fortress of Meropide.
Didn't he say he was coming here on vacation? Does he not feel an ounce of shame for all the trouble he has caused? Forget it. He did give us an opportunity. I will be meeting someone shortly.
Do you require help with any preparations?
No need. I will take care of it myself. I need to meet with Furina, the Hydro Archon. She is at the heart of Fontaine. But what's fascinating about her is that she often seems more like a celebrity than a working Archon.
Oh? Come over here, you little critter, you!
Oh. Das ist auch ein geiles Outfit von Arlecchino.
You dare to run from me? Stop right this instant!
My goal is just to discover the location of the Gnosis. But I didn't expect the chance to approach Furina to be handed to me on a silver platter. This is so easy, it's actually making me a bit suspicious. Anything left unguarded is usually just bait. But no one will blame someone for taking the bait. After all, from the moment it was attached to the hook, the bait is meant to be sacrificed. It's just as I guessed in the second before I struck. The Hydronosis is not currently held by the Archon. In fact, this Archon doesn't seem like a god at all. And I sense that she's under some kind of curse.
Who are you? And what are you trying to do? Please don't kill me! I'm begging you, please!
The fear in her pupils is genuine, so perhaps she's not bait after all. Either way, targeting her has lost all meaning. I left the scene with ease. Nobody came looking for me, and nobody could serve as a witness to my near assassination of Focalor. I suspect even Furina dares not mention this incident to anyone. Not long after, my informants confirmed what I had guessed. After returning to her quarters, Furina quietly cried alone. She was so scared that she could not sleep that night, nor could she even bring herself to eat her cake. There's no doubt that there's something wrong with her. I began to entertain the possibility that she is not the true Hydro Archon. Perhaps Iudex Neuvillette is actually the genuine article. I have to find the Gnosis. If the Neuvillette hypothesis is correct, he is probably in possession of it. Alternatively, it might have been hidden in a place that's hard for ordinary people to access.
Yes, Father.
My dear children, please speak.
News from the Fortress of Meropide. Master Child has gone missing. On top of that, the contacts and guards we bribed at the fortress have all gone quiet as well.
Probably the handiwork of that Writhsley.
I'm afraid so.
This is a good opportunity. The value of a Harbinger is much higher than most would imagine. We now have an excuse to exert diplomatic pressure on the Fontaine authorities. Set up a meeting for me. I would like to meet the Hydro Archon and Iudex Neuvillette. Oh, and I have an additional mission for you three.
Yes, Father.
Tartaglia's disappearance was not a part of my plan, but I can use it to make a breakthrough. With this as my excuse, I can ask for an official audience and continue my investigation of Furina and Iudex Neuvillette. The initiative belongs to the House of the Hearth. My wish to investigate the fortress of Meripede will be a front. Lenny and his group will be responsible for the actual intelligence gathering.
Gott!
You should know the rest. Lenny's group is quite close to you, so they wouldn't have hidden anything from you.
You attacked the Hydro Archon?
It wouldn't mean anything, even if you shouted it from the rooftops. After all, even Furina herself is still pretending that nothing of that sort ever happened.
Alright then.
I've now had 2 chances to enjoy tea with Furina. I have to say, the leadership of Fontaine is even more inscrutable than I had imagined. I once surmised that Iudex Neuvillette must be the Hydro Archon, but now, that doesn't seem right to me either.
Verdammt, ihr Plan ist einfach so viel besser als der von allen anderen Harbingern bisher. Ich meine, in Mondstadt gab es keinen Plan der Fatui. Es gab nur einfach mal einen Überfall und keine Ahnung, warum Venti sein Gnosis abgegeben hat. Weil es wurde offiziell von MiHoYo bzw. HoYoverse bestätigt, dass er eigentlich stark genug gewesen wäre, um sich zu befreien und alle da platt zu machen. Nach dem, was wir gesehen haben an Kräften, muss man auch sagen, ja, sehr wahrscheinlich hätte er das. In Liebe? Ja, okay, der Plan war eigentlich ziemlich gut, aber auch ziemlich simple, to be honest. In Inazuma, dieser Plan hätte niemals dazu führen sollen, dass sie das Gnosis erhalten. Also, ernsthaft. Hätte Ai nicht gesagt, ich brauche das Teil nicht. Hier, Yae Miko, du kannst das haben. Sie hätten das Gnosis nie und nimmer erhalten. Ich meine, wie denn? Kein Weg. Und in Sumeru ernsthaft. Sumeru war eine Vollkatastrophe. Der einzige Grund, warum sie da das Gnosis bekommen haben, war, weil Nahida eine Idiotin ist. Also, ich meine, ja, sie hat die auch für gar nichts weggegeben, ähnlich wie Venti. Nur Venti ist jemand, der nimmt im Grunde kaum noch etwas ernst. Der Typ hat ein ordentliches PTSD. Also, Venti ist eigentlich so einer der tiefsten Charakter in der gesamten Genshin-Lore. Ich möchte nicht sagen, einer der tragischsten, weil es gibt da noch einige andere sehr tragische, aber es hat einen Grund, warum der Kerl seit über 2600 Jahren Alkoholiker ist. Damn. Ja gut. Rex Lapis, sagen wir mal ehrlich, das war echt einfach Glück, dass zu der Zeit Rex Lapis halt diesen Entschluss gefasst hat und die Fatui direkt mit einem entsprechenden Handel vorbeikommen konnten. Aber ansonsten hätten sie das Gnosis nie und nimmer bekommen. Ja, aber es ist halt ein gewaltiger Unterschied zwischen Venti und Nahida. Nahida hat kein PTSD. Sie ist einfach nur eine Idiotin, die, obwohl sie als Göttin der Weisheit gehandelt wird und aus irgendeinem Grund die Reisende und Paimon absolut für sie gesimpt haben, nichts, aber auch gar nichts jemals geschafft hat. Ja gut, sie hat den einen Nebencharakter gerettet, für den sich kein Aas interessiert. Wow. Aber das nur nachdem sie gelogen hat und nicht nur sich selbst, sondern alle in dem Samsara-Zyklus in Lebensgefahr gebracht hat. Ernsthaft, hätte sich die Göttin der Weisheit in all ihrer Weisheit nicht schon wieder geirrt und jemanden ganz frei heraus zu sagen, dass diese Person träumt, wäre nicht schlimm gewesen. Wir wären im Samsara-Zyklus gestorben. Ey. Wir können froh sein, dass Nilou sich nicht so verhält, wie Nahida das gedacht hat. Ich überlege gerade, ob sie wirklich... Vielleicht stammt sie ja irgendwie von Melusin ab. Ich weiß, sie ist ein Zweig von Irminsul, aber das muss der Zweig sein, der sich um die Melusinen gekümmert hat. Was für ein inkompetent idiotischer Arkon. Bei Furina, ja, sie ist auch inkompetent. Sie hat wirklich sehr große Ähnlichkeiten mit Fischl. Aber damn. Arlecchino hat keine Ahnung, was da los ist und durchschaut das alles trotzdem ziemlich gut. Naja, wie bist du zu dem Schluss gekommen, dass auch Neuvillette nicht der echte Hydro-Arkon ist?
I am a servant of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Over my years of service, I've learned how a real Archon conducts and carries themselves. Whether Eudex Neuvillette or Furina, neither fits the bill. It's hard to imagine either of them as the Archon. Of course, that is all just how I feel. Gut feelings often do not require justification. It is, however, quite amusing to me that after all my years working in intelligence gathering, I've come to realize I am at a complete loss regarding the identity of the god of the land of my birth. Don't you think Fontaine is quite intriguing? A catastrophe looms, yet many secrets have yet to rise to the surface. It looks like Fontainians will have no choice but to save themselves. Ultimately, though, one must survive in order to do anything else. Should the need arise, I would be happy to cooperate with you. You don't need to commit to anything right now, of course. I have a feeling that the situation will continue to evolve, and as your name is often connected with noble deeds, I'm sure we will work together someday.
Neuvillette? Ja, wahrscheinlich werden wir das müssen.
He certainly returned quickly. You must want to catch up with each other, so I'll leave you to him.
Neuvillette, is it over?
For now, yes. but this issue will prove quite thorny in the long term. I'm concerned that sooner or later the prophesized events will occur. Thank you for protecting Furina.
Darf ich fragen, was da unten passiert ist?
To put it simply, I used my power to force back the primordial sea and reseal the sluice gate.
Okay. Bei uns ist die Sache so verlaufen. Du erzählst Neuvillette von dem Treffen.
So as expected, the knave has turned up the pressure on Furina. She's trying to feel her out, though I'm still unsure as to her motives.
Darf ich dich was fragen?
Permission granted.
Du hast sogar die Macht, das Wasser des Urmeers zurückzudrängen. Bedeutet das, dass du eine tiefere Verbindung zu dem Hydro-Archon hast?
Whoa. It can't be that you're the real Hydro Archon, right? But that's just a speculation on our part, though. You can't tell us? Then that's okay. We can talk about something else. We won't try to force you. You guys in Fontaine are super strange.
If by the phrase "you guys" you are referring to Furina and I, then although I'm not sure just what you are trying to imply, I must clarify that I do not share her positions on a multitude of topics.
Okay, was hast du im Fort Meropid gespürt? Ist es dir gelungen, diejenigen zu schützen, die geschützt werden sollten? Komplizierte Frage. Wer ist schutzwürdig und wer nicht?
I believe so. The fortress has a long and complex history. It has seen much grief and suffering. And now, another catastrophe will soon be upon us. I mourn this turn of events.
Huh? Why is it raining all of a sudden?
Das erinnert mich an dieses Kinderlied und an das, was Freminet sagte. Es heißt, dass einmal ein Hydrodrache in Fontaine gelebt hat. Jedes Mal, wenn er weint, verdunkelt sich der Himmel und es fängt an zu regnen. Neuvillette, bist du etwa...
You may be closer to the truth than you think.
Oh? And what are you thinking?
Er ist der Hydrodrache.
The dragon of... what? Huh?
Please do not be so surprised. Furina?
Neuvillette, are you listening?
My apologies.
We were just guessing randomly. We didn't guess right, did we? You're not actually the dragon sovereign of water, right? Well, if you don't want to confirm or deny...
You guessed correctly. I sincerely hope you'll be able to keep this a secret for me.
Right, of course. We'll definitely help you keep it a secret. There's still something Paimon wants to ask you, though.
Please, go ahead.
Well, if you are the dragon sovereign of water, and you were able to force back the primordial sea from the fortress, then since Fontaine's prophecy is all about seawater, couldn't you just use your power to solve the crisis?
None of the currently living dragon sovereigns in the world, myself included, possess our full dragonhood. They say that when the first usurper arrived on Tivat, they seized a part of the dragon's power. Today, that stolen power is the basis of the Archon's authorities.
There are 7 elemental archons and 7 matching dragon sovereigns.
The dragon sovereign of water who lived through that era perished a long time ago. As their successor, I know far less of that part of our ancient history. In any case, I believe I will not be able to do much unless the Archon disappears and returns their elemental authority to me. Given the status quo, however, I would recommend finding another way to deal with the prophecy.
Oh, so even you can't solve it.
I still have some urgent matters to attend to at my office. If you have any more questions regarding ancient history, you are welcome to discuss them with me at a later time.
Please go right ahead. There's a place that Paimon wants to go too. Traveler, why don't we pay another visit to the Fortress of Meropide? Paimon is a little worried.
Ja, bis später, Nüvillet.
We'll see you another time.
Take care.
Erbe der Äonen. Ich muss sagen, das ist jetzt echt so eine Sache. Insgesamt, also, wobei ich mich frage, ja, er ist zwar erst der zweite Elementardrache, den wir in der Story sehen. Der erste war Durin. Nee, Quatsch, Dvalin. Aber da müssen wir uns ja auch fragen, Dvalin ist die... Oder, ja. Der zweite, den wir kennen, ist Azdaha, den wir in der zweiten Story von Zhongli finden, beziehungsweise treffen. Wir haben keine Ahnung, wer der Elektrodrache ist. Also der ist bisher noch nicht aufgetaucht. Nein, es ist nicht Yaemiko. Oder auch sonst haben wir keine Ahnung, wer das sein könnte. Ich meine, für Dendro gibt es auch einen Drachen, der... Ich weiß gar nicht, wo der vorkommt. Aber um den kümmert sich halt kein Schwein. Es kümmert sich sowieso kein Schwein um die Geschichte von Sumeru. Ey, alle sagen, das wäre so eine tolle... Das hätte so eine tolle Story und so. Aber wenn ihr nicht gerade direkt in den... in die Wikis reinschaut und direkt danach sucht, ist es extrem schwer, Fandiskussionen oder so darüber zu finden. Das ist kein Vergleich zu irgendeiner anderen Region. Absolut kein Vergleich. Über Mondstadt wurde so viel gesprochen, so viel geschrieben von den Fans. So viel diskutiert auch unter den Fans. Selbes für Liyue und sogar für das wenig geliebte Inazuma. Aber seit Sumeru extrem wenig. Also nicht nur was Dings. Ja. Ist das schon. Nicht nur was Story angeht, sondern Fandiskussionen, Memes, all sowas. Sehr wenig, was da noch storybasiert gibt. Hier für Fontaine ist es wieder ein bisschen hochgekocht, aber das ist immer noch in keinster Weise vergleichbar mit dem, was wir bis Patch 3.0 hatten. Also mit eben Mondstadt, Liyue und Inazuma. Das ist... Eigentlich schade, aber ja gut. Das kommt halt davon, wenn die Story nicht richtig passt. So. Ach, bevor ich es vergesse, vielleicht noch als Erklärung, warum Venti so wenig auf sein Gnosis gegeben hat. Für ihn war das Gnosis einfach nur ein Weg, um mit Celestia Kontakt aufzunehmen. Und Venti hasst Celestia. Das einzige, was er oder die beiden einzigen Sachen, die er mit Celestia verbindet, sind, dass sie nichts gegen die Willkür des ursprünglichen Herrschers von Mondstadt getan haben. Und dass kurz nachdem Mondstadt befreit wurde, hier, wer heißt sie noch? Vanessa nach eben dorthin abgehauen ist. Und er somit mit Dvalin vollkommen allein gelassen wurde. Also, ja, er hatte damals sowieso nur 3 Freunde, nämlich den unbekannten Baden, der bei der Schlacht um das alte Mondstadt gestorben ist, Vanessa, die relativ schnell sich nach Celestia abgezogen ist, und Durin, der kurz darauf im alten Mondstadt schlafen gegangen ist. Ja gut, irgendwie kann man vielleicht noch hier sag schon, den Wolf von Wolfenlauf mitzählen, aber der ist ja auch im Krieg ums alte Mondstadt gestorben. Also mit dem konnte er sich auch nicht unterhalten. Das heißt, all seine Freunde waren ziemlich bald nach dem Kampf um Mondstadt entweder tot oder weg. Habe ich schon erzählt, dass der Kerl PTSD hat? Tja. Komm, versuchen wir das Ganze auf einer positiven Note zu enden. Und zwar mit Urteilsspruch. Oh, nein, nur Stufe 4, schade. Ein Favonius-Kodex, ja. Nein, es sind 2 Favonio-Kodizes. Yay. Wir versuchen es beim nächsten Mal noch auf einer etwas besseren Note zu landen. Was meint ihr? Bis dahin. Gruß, Synas Fan.